Hello guys! Welcome to another Reviewed for You Travels videos. In this one we'll be showing you some interesting insight related to mass destruction bomb, known as nuclear weapon. In today's world, 8 countries currently possess nuclear weapons, including the 5 major countries that occupy the 5 permanent slots on the United Nations Security Council: the United States of America, Russia, China, France, and the United Kingdom. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing and don't forget to like and ring the bell to be notified to our next video. Thank you, keep it groovy. Top 1. Russia, 6,255 nuclear weapons. In 1949, the Soviet Union carried out the first nuclear test, RDS-1. Part of the expertise for this crash project came from espionage during and after World War II. The Soviet Union was the second country in the world to develop and test nuclear weapons, behind the United States. Russia possesses the world's greatest nuclear arsenal, according to most estimates. Putin possessed 6,255 nukes as of late 2021, according to the Stockholm Peace Institute. The number is estimated to be between 5,977 and 6,257 by other nuclear proliferation watchdogs. The current total includes 1,760 warheads that are believed to be in the process of being decommissioned. Although still alarming, Russia's nuclear arsenal has shrunk dramatically since the USSR disintegrated in 1991, when the country inherited 35,000 weapons. Both Russia and the United States signed the new Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, New START, which has been in effect since 2011. The pact sets a maximum of 1,550 deployed strategic nuclear warheads and bombs. Top 2. The United States of America, 5,550 nuclear weapons. Fearing that Nazi Germany might develop nuclear weapons first, the United States collaborated with the United Kingdom and Canada on the Manhattan Project to build the first nuclear weapons during World War II. It was the first country to use nuclear bombs in a war, killing the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki on July 16, 1945. It is still the world's only country to have used nuclear bombs in combat. In 1952, it was the first country to test a prototype of the hydrogen bomb, and in 1954, it was the first country to test a deployable weapon. Throughout the Cold War, it continued to improve and grow its nuclear arsenal, but since 1992, it has mostly concentrated on stockpile stewardship. The US possesses around 5,550 nuclear weapons, with 1,800 of them deployed, meaning they are on missiles or at facilities with active forces. Until now, the US has been the only country to use an atomic bomb in a fight. Top 3. China, 290 nuclear weapons. At the Lochner test site in 1964, China conducted its first nuclear weapon test. The weapon was designed as a deterrence to both the United States and the Soviet Union. 2 years later, China developed a fission bomb that could be placed into a nuclear missile. It tested its first hydrogen bomb 32 months after testing its first nuclear weapon. Following the United States and Russia, each country's nuclear arsenal is severely reduced. China has less than a tenth of the resources that the US does. Last November, a Pentagon report warned that China's nuclear arsenal was growing more faster than the US had anticipated a year earlier. The US is afraid that by 2030, Beijing would have more than 1,000 weapons. Top 4. France, 290 nuclear weapons. With 290 nuclear weapons, France ranks among the countries with the most nuclear weapons in the world. The majority of these weapons are submarine-based, with the remainder being cruise missiles launched from the air. In 1960, the country conducted its first nuclear attack test. France vows to follow a strict sufficiency policy, keeping its nuclear weapons at the lowest strategic level achievable. Top 5. The United Kingdom, 225 nuclear weapons. In 1952, the United Kingdom tested the first nuclear weapon, dubbed Hurricane. Austrian, German, and Polish physicists working at British institutions who had left or refused to return to Nazi Germany or Nazi-controlled countries were early supporters of the atomic bomb idea. During the Manhattan Project, the UK worked closely with the US and Canada, but when US secrecy increased after 1945, it was compelled to create its own technique of producing and detonating a bomb. Following the United States and the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom became the world's third country to develop and test nuclear weapons. The United Kingdom has roughly 225 nuclear weapons and began its nuclear weapons program during World War II. Arms are deployed at sea and are delivered by US-made Trident submarine-launched ballistic missiles. Trident is a fleet of 4 submarines operated by the Royal Navy and located at HMNB Clyde in Scotland. The government has conducted 45 nuclear weapons tests to date. Top 6. Pakistan, 165. Nuclear weapons. Pakistan is officially not a signatory to the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Since the late 1970s, Pakistan has been secretly developing nuclear weapons. Pakistan got its start with nuclear weapon in the early 1970s, when it built its first nuclear power plant in Karachi with mostly Western-supplied equipment and components. In 1971, Pakistani President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto stated that if India could construct nuclear weapons, so could Pakistan. We would develop nuclear stockpiles, even if we have to eat grass. Pakistan possesses 165 nuclear weapons and wants to build more by 2021. The country's tense relationship with India has a significant impact on the country's nuclear weapons production rate. Pakistan resumed nuclear weapons testing in 1988, citing national security concerns. Top 7. India, 156. Nuclear weapons. The Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty does not include India. In 1998, India implemented the No First Use policy. In 1974, India conducted a test of a peaceful nuclear explosive, which became known as Smiling Buddha. The test was the first after the NPT was established, and it raised new concerns about how civilian nuclear technology may be discreetly converted to military objectives, dual-use technology. India has been in an arms race with Pakistan for a long time, with 156 nuclear weapons. However, recent tense relations with China make nuclear weapons production more difficult. As a result, every attempt by India to modernize its nuclear weapons will be seen as a threat by Pakistan, escalating the nuclear arms race. Top 8. North Korea, 50. Nuclear weapons. In February 2005, North Korea claimed to have operational nuclear weapons, but the lack of a test at the time prompted many analysts to doubt the claim. In response to rising US threats, North Korea said in October 2006 that it would conduct a nuclear test to legitimize its nuclear stance. North Korea claimed the successful completion of a nuclear test on October 9, 2006. With 50 nuclear weapons, North Korea is assumed to have the fewest on the list, although it is a famously secretive country. In 2018, the government agreed to a nuclear and long-range missile testing freeze, however long-range missile tests resumed in 2020. North Korea has conducted many missile tests over the Sea of Japan under the leadership of Kim Jong-un, heightening fears of an assault. Kim has stated that his country's military and nuclear weapons would be expanded. In compared to other nuclear powers, the US and Russia have a significant quantity of nuclear weapons. During the Cold War, the two countries engaged in a nuclear weapons race, which resulted in this. You could also reflect on the devastating damage and repercussions of 2 nuclear bombs unleashed on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and question why any government would want hundreds upon thousands of nuclear warheads. Practically, only a small fraction of that would destroy the world as we know it, but politically, accumulating weapons was a way of demonstrating worldwide dominance. Because of the Cold War arms race, Russia and the United States still have the most nuclear weapons. Hey, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the button above this video.